Okay, so good afternoon. I'm here again and I am going to do a quick market review. We're at the beginning of the month, well, we're now into the second week actually, and I thought I'd just take the time to have a look at the charts and record my kind of analysis of what I'm seeing at the moment. I did manage to do a trade today which I wasn't able to record, but we can have a look at what I was recording or what I traded today. I was on the road. It's a public holiday where I am, so there was no work, but I was out and about enjoying the day off, so to speak. But I did sneak in a tricky little trade, as you can see the arrows here, the markers. It wasn't anything major, but just, yeah, because this is what I saw. So one of the key things that I wanted to kind of really look at, that I need to focus on in my tape reading, is my higher time frame analysis and really staying aligned to that. And now we're at the beginning of the month. I am going to go through again. I am very cognizant of the fact that I have got a lot of stuff going on in my charts. I have a lot of lines. I have got a lot of, I tend not to get rid of them, and as you can see, things do kind of react weeks later to certain price ranges that come in that I highlight, like either breaker blocks or what have you. Generally speaking, the price reacts on them, you know, a week later, which is why I tend to leave them on the chart. But as you can imagine, it does start to get a little bit crowded. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start off by, first of all, let me just close this, give myself a bigger screen, a bit more real estate, and let's just go on the monthly. We'll go for month, week, day, and then the hour, and that will, which is where I am at the moment, and that will help us kind of really look to see what we're doing. I'm just going to take off. I'm actually going to start all over again. I'm going to just remove some of these indicators that I've got on here. So that should be gone. And let's just, I won't remove all of them. Don't want to remove all of them. I don't know what's wrong with that. I have no idea. It feels like a lot. One of the things that I found that I seem to be doing a lot of, hold on, let's just remove all 57, okay, because one of the things you keep doing is, what I do is I keep on looking at things, or looking at videos, looking at ICT videos, obviously looking at the videos from my mentorship from Zusi, which are great. But there's always something new to think about and consider. But you have to strip it back and focus on one thing. And my one thing that I have been focusing on is the 9:30 open, and doing that 9:45 to 10:15 macro, and that is it. And looking for my reversal market structure shift at a point of interest. But as I say to you, I'm struggling with my higher time frame order flow, which is why sometimes I'm looking at for a reversal when really actually it's a continuation. So that should really mean that I shouldn't do the trade, because that's not in my protocol as such. But I want to focus on this higher time frame and being able to trade in line, and not in line with the higher time frame order flow, and not losing sight of it. So I'm just going to mark up on the monthly. As you can see, this is the trend on this chart. We're still clearly in an upward trend, but one of the things that, you know, as I say, I picked up from one of ICT's videos from, I think this one is 2016 mentorship, was using order blocks or something along those lines, and how if you have your order block, then you should see how it reacts from your order block as such. But anyhow, let's let's focus on what I can see on the monthly. So what strikes me first, I think here we have, this is our, I would say this was our market structure shift. We have a low, high, lower low, higher high. We've got a fair value gap left here. Let's just put that in here. I'm going to keep that to there. I don't know, I don't have a set of colours that I use. I think I'm going to, for monthly, because it's not really anything that should be too close to home. And just monthly fair value gap. Yeah. So that's from 2023. So is it ever going to come back down here? I don't know. But this is telling me we got our confirmation, you drop down into it. Does it need to come to here? I don't know. But we're all the way up there now. Then also, if you look at this, I don't know if this is classed as your order block, where we've closed above it. ICT says to hold the high of that order block, and you should see the reaction of price when it comes close to it. I'm not going to put it on the chart. I think you may saw the red line I had it on before, but that was just me having a look at things. As we can see here now on the monthly, where are we? So price ran down. This was in 2023. We've broken it. We've continued up. We had a pullback in April 2024. This is obviously February 2025. So since the beginning of the year, we've still got that. February had the all-time high. We've had this pullback here. High, low, higher, high, lower, low. I don't know. We could be looking for a reversal soon after we've taken out this high, maybe. Who knows? You could look at this long wick and say, where are we on that long wick? So these are all the things that I've kind of picked up along the way. If I take this long wick, we're at, where are we? We're at 75%. Look at that. So does that mean we're not looking to go above it? Does that mean we're going to get our reversal here? But we're at 75%. That's all today. Yeah? I'm not going to keep that on the chart because it's just too messy. It's too much. I will, however, mark up this open of this downloads candle, which I believe should be a this could be an order block, monthly order block, and the reason being is because it lines up with the previous week's low as well. So I kind of feel like if it comes here, we should get a strong reaction. You may also note that we also have a very large gap here, buy side, sell side inefficiency. So I'm actually also going to mark that off. I mean, is there any point in marking this off? This is from what year is this? 2023. It could be another 2 years before we get down. But here we have monthly, okay. So we're above it at the minute. We've traded above it. We've created it. Do we want to see, are we going to get a, resistance to continue high? We're going to go through it and come back down. Obviously there's this huge wick here as well. So now let's just drop down to the weekly, and we can see a little bit more of what's happened on the way up. So my question is, obviously, with this being, we've got a low, we took out this low, we've got a high here. That high is in this little gap here, if you notice. So we've broken it over here with this series of imbalances. We've repriced down into this imbalance. I mean, it didn't go right down into that high, which is that consequent encroachment of this gap. Does it have to, price have to come back down to this area for it to become a balanced price range? I don't know. Somebody can tell me. Oops. Somebody can tell me in the, comments. I don't know. Where is it? Where did I put it? Yes. What do I like text? I don't want to like text. Here we go. Just leave that there. Okay. So then, if we take a look now of where we are, something a little bit more recent, obviously, this is when we had all of that Trump news with the tariffs, and we had this massive drop week after week after week during April, and then it repriced all the way down to where were we here. Okay, so that was right in this area here. You see, you notice that it came all the way down to here, which if you wanted to say, I don't know if that is, if this is the bottom, and that is the top. Look at that. Crikey, I hadn't done that before. Of that price range, that's at 50%. We always get 50% retracement, which the bull said it's a 90% chance of happening. If it comes down here, then that's fantastic. You notice this is at 75%. But when's it going to get down there? I don't know. As I say, this was in 2023. It might not be till 2027 that we see price get all the way back down here. I don't know. Or it could just happen in the space of 2 weeks because of some Trump news. Who knows? But that's in itself very interesting from a higher time frame. Order flow. We haven't reached the high, but we have retraced, obviously quite significantly. But the question is, when is it going to either cross that line of continue on higher, or are we going to again reverse and come all the way back down? As you can see, within that monthly BISI, we also have this gap here. This was a new week opening gap that has never been filled. So that is quite telling, and this was the high of that order block. So that's where I was looking for. I am looking at price to return to, and to see maybe the reaction of that to then take this high. So this is our buy side liquidity. So we best put up here. Black text green. Where are we? We've got buy side. Top. That's where our buy side is. I put it in the center because when you go down the lower times frames, if it's to the left, you just don't see it. So anyway, so that's our buy side at the minute, and obviously this is sell side. Okay. Let me just put that below. Okay, so we retraced down, we took out all of these lows, and we've gone straight back up. As I say, we've still got this new week opening gap. I don't know if we want to highlight that still. I'm going to do a new week opening gap from, that was May 12th. Okay, and I'm just going to make it white. Right, and then up here we have a weekly fair value gap. I don't think I need to put that on right now. Let me just go down to the day. I think at this point so now we're at the day. We can see again we had a change in the state of delivery. We had this low here, we had this low that was taken out, and we have a high here. We have a high in this, also in this busy here. You see a small busy over there, so in this sibby, and you have a tiny busy over this side too, if you see here, which is where we had this previous month's low. So yeah, so this is so we've seen here that we've had a change in the state of delivery. As you can see, we've got yet another gap. This gap's being left open all over the place, literally all over the place, and I don't really know what to say about that, to be honest, but they're there. Okay, but that was our change in state of delivery. We had this gap here, which obviously also lined up with this gap. It's been rebalanced by this drop down into it, so price can continue up higher, which we have done. We saw that new week opening gap here, and we have this BC here, which is traded into, and we've continued up into this series of imbalances over here. And right now, this is our daily imbalance that we are trading in. I'm going to make this a blue because that's our active situation. So here we have our daily imbalance that we are in. So if we look at what happened Friday the 30th, that was of May, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This was the Friday with NFP, and we saw a reprice higher. We've been rejecting this. We haven't passed consequent encroachment in terms of closing. The wicks have gone, but not the bodies as yet. But this is where we are today on Monday the 9th of June. So if this is our 1 hourly order block, if you wanted to see price return here, although I said that, see, again, you see how I keep changing? So this was the order block, wasn't it, that we were looking at to see if price reacted if it got here. But you could say we are looking at a market structure shift on this daily, because if you notice, we've gone high, we've gone low into this busy, we've gone higher high. All we need to do is get a low down here with another with a civvy, then that could give us our change in state of delivery for continuing up. But we're not there yet. We're still bullish, but we're still not sure whether we're going to take the buy side of liquidity, or if this is as far as we need to go to roll over. This is our daily chart, remember. This is a lot of consolidation, I would say. I'm not sure if there was a true change of state of delivery. I'm not that good when it comes to all of this, but let's have a look and see what's happening if we go down. So on the daily, we're still bullish until we take out one of these lows, or even until we get a change in the state of delivery on this daily chart, maybe. So let's have a look. Yeah, once we're still above here, I think we continue being bullish, but maybe price will remain in this area. I don't know. Let's have a look on the 1 hour. Okay, and see what has occurred. So as you can see on the 1 hour now, so if we go back from Friday the 23rd of May, that's almost 2 weeks, right? We took out a low, high, higher low mitigation block. Here we have our high, we see the return to balance out this price range, and then we can continue on higher. But we went into this BISI, or this fair value gap, whichever one it was, right? Here again, this here I would say is a change in state of delivery, a unicorn model. If I was to, if I was to look at this on a lower time frame, so this is in the 1 hour time frame, I'm pretty sure that you'd have, this was a high, a low, high, lower, well, lower low, and higher high, and then we've we balanced it out here, and by coming back down and then going up. Let's see, what day was that? Monday the 2nd of June, Friday the 30th of May. I'm pretty sure that was what happened there. So yes, we then, as you can see, we had that high at 3 o'clock. See, everything just lines up. 3 o'clock high, and we retraced to it at 3 a.m. on Tuesday. That's interesting. 3 p.m., 3 a.m., 12 hours later, a day and a half later. But I'm always interested in what happened at 9 o'clock. So at 3, we had Monday at 3, we had the low of the day. So our 9 o'clock candle was here. It wasn't that big, but it started the run all the way up here. So Monday, Tuesday, low of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, high of the week, if we're bullish, is what we're looking for. So open, low, and then continue up higher. Open, low, close, high close. Open, low, high close is what you're looking for each day. So we had that on the Monday. Also on the Tuesday, open, low, straight into our point. This would be our point of interest, I guess, which was the high of the previous day, or the Friday. And here we saw it drop down and continue up. If we look at 9 o'clock candle, again, we literally just opened and going straight up high, up to where we are now. So what did I do today? Let's have a look. So when I looked at this morning, I was thinking, again, open low, close high. So I was looking for an open low to a point of interest, and I was saying we've got to take these equal highs, which is also our previous day high. So that's what I was looking for. So I'm just going to drop down into the 1 minute chart and see what happened this morning at 9:30. I'm going to put my time cycles on, my Zusi time cycles. Let me also just reduce the transparency on this. We know we're in that box. We are in that imbalance, that hourly, daily imbalance. So what happens? So from midnight, so this is our midnight open here. We've gone up during London. It's kind of quite flat. And then what did we do? Look at this consolidation. We've manipulated down lower. Where did we go? We went down to, well, it's not London now. But we've dropped down to 21,728 here, and that was at 9:39. So this is what I'm trying to do for my 9 o'clock, because I'm looking for a structure shift in every hourly candle, right? But it's at what time? So here is the 9 o'clock. So, oops, sorry. So if we put our line across here for 9 o'clock, this is our 9 o'clock candle. This is where we opened. But remember that this is our wick. Yeah? So we've got a very long wick. So come 9:30 we go down. Okay, then a little up, but I'm still waiting for 9:45 for my structure shift, which I believe happened here. If I drop down, I'm in the 1 minute at the minute, but if I drop down to the 15 second and go back, let's have a look what happened at 9:45, or just before. So again, this was 9:30, we dropped down, 9:36, we took out this low here, we have a high right here. So to me, that would be the high that I needed to watch. Um, 9:38 and 9:45, you see, and we would have retested this side. So this was our gap. That was our gap that we would have been looking for. I'm just going to do that. Okay. So this was it. So this was our gap, as I say. This is the low that we took. There's the high. We broke down again, and we see we drop back into that high here. Was there a gap on the other side? I don't know. Not really. There's a small one there. But this is where we're looking, or I don't know, maybe this was the high. I mean, if you could even maybe think that this might have been the move, I don't know. But to me, this was my market structure shift. You could say your shift was at this point, where we have another gap here, we have a high, we have a gap, just small gap here, and we traced into it. As you can see, this is where I bought. It was a 952. I was doing something that I probably shouldn't have been doing. I was on the phone whilst doing other things, out and about, as I say. So I literally just put on the trade because I could see that this this structure shift took place here. And I was like, okay, we're going in. If I was cautious, I could have waited until the 10 o'clock. This was obviously our 9 o'clock open. We're above it. We've dropped down in here. 10 o'clock opened up. 10 o'clock candle is acting as a order block, and say, let me just go back to the 1 minute. Here we have it. 10 o'clock opens. You drop back down here and continue straight up to our previous day high, and that was essentially it. In my mind, what I did want to do was, I have noticed something about this price level here, 21,900. This is our buy side liquidity, is literally just above that, just below that 21,900 level, which to me seems a little bit strange. It's a bit suspicious. Why is that there? Why are we just below it? And if I am on the, I had this marked up before. What did I see that I'm not seeing now? Previous week's high. It's something that I'm not seeing that was on my chart before. Just double check. Oh, I know what it was. If we look at, I think I did it. Well, I did it before, didn't I? From this low to this high. 25% is there. But if I go, sorry, if I go from this low, which is the low that's set up this run, so that would be the point, not this one, because this took out this high. This low didn't take out any highs. You see, this is the low there, but this low took out that high. So this is the price range. If I go all the way up, you notice how we are on this 25% mark of that price range, and we've bounced off it. So I am waiting, or I would like to see it take off that and at that 21,900 level. That is what I'd be looking for to happen this week. That's why I'm still bullish. This is my buy side liquidity as it stands. Yeah. And if I drop down to, I think it's this here is a market structure shift. So if I drop that down to, I think it's a 5-minute time frame. You can see, actually I'm going to go down to 1 minute. Because these, it seems to me that these order blocks always mean something. You see that high, it lines up with that busy, lines up with that. I just think it's a very key level. I'm not sure anymore. But ultimately, that's where I'm at. I am still bullish. We had a little drop down. We took our previous day high. This is Monday, Sunday, Monday. Could this be the high of the week? And we continue lower for the rest of the week? I don't know. Could we get a bit higher tomorrow? We've got CPI. So we just have to wait and see what happens. But I think this is a key level for me. I was actually expecting us to drop down to here this morning, but we didn't. We just, you know, I saw the market structure shift happen at 9:30, between 9:30 and 9:45. So that was my entry. And tomorrow I'll be looking for exactly the same thing, a drop down into a point of interest, to then continue up higher to take out this previous week's high if we don't do it overnight before that. So that's ultimately my analysis as it stands as to where we're at. I could put on another CB for reference, or BC. I don't want all these. I hate all of these different colours, and I really need to get this stuff organised. Don't like that orange. Let me go back to yellow. Don't want to extend it. That's gonna be nice yellow. Here we go. Should we see what happens on this? Look at 1 hour. Let's see. Yeah. and this is R25. I'm going to leave this line on here, and this is the top. So yeah, so that's where I'm thinking. Also 50% of that price range here. So yeah, it is looking like we should go above here. But I guess it's just a question of when. So we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow morning. And then CPI, we have to wait till post CPI to see what happens. So that's my analysis. Thanks ever so much. And let me know in the comments.